host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-953. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. We're going to take your phone calls, and if you think the president's tweets were racist and or out of line, we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But first, I got to talk about Second Amendment Arms and Range. Don't forget, if you mention me, you get half off your range time. Go to Second Amendment Arms and Range, secondamendmentarms.net, and go ahead and make sure, again, you have to mention me to get that discount. So, all right. The president set up some tweets. He put them out there. A lot of people are not happy about it because, again, the president said something, and so we must create a controversy. And so what he said, I'm just going to read you the tweet since, by the way, I have read I'm going to say an alarming number of articles today that did not have the entire tweet thread in it. An alarming number of them. Now, from major outlets as well as local markets. And it's weird because the thread that they're talking about had 3 tweets in it. And they keep one of those tweets in there. But they don't have the other 2. And I think the other 2 dramatically changes the context for which he is being criticized today, but that's just my opinion. But really, I wanted to throw it out to you. Do you believe what the president tweeted out about the freshman members of Congress going back to their country? Do you think that that was racist in any way? Do you think it was uncalled for in any way? Or do you feel like he's being targeted unfairly? 574-2595-953. That is 2595-953. You can also send me a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. By the way, on my Facebook page, I posted the phone number and the texting number since I get like 2 of you who are insistent upon me not giving the number and the texting number enough. So there, it's posted on the Facebook page. You can go to it and you can easily see it, copy and paste it in your phone, whatever you want to do. All right, so this is what the president actually tweeted out, okay? So interesting to see progressive, and he's got that in quotes, Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all, now loudly and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came, then come back and show us how it's done? These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to quickly work out free travel arrangements. That's the full thread. Now, of course, they're picking and choosing the whole, you go back bit. Why don't they go back and help fix totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came from? They're leaving it off there. I can't count how many articles that I have looked at over the past couple of days that have just left it at that. They didn't include the rest of the context. And I think the rest of the context is, frankly, extremely important. Of course, you take something out of context, you can weave a narrative however you want. And I use this example a lot. There's a picture that went viral many, many years ago. And in this picture, it shows an American soldier and it shows a prisoner, okay? The first picture is an American soldier with their rifle to the prisoner's head. The next picture, okay, is an American soldier giving water to a prisoner. The third picture shows both of those pictures are actually the same picture, and you got an American treating a wounded combat opponent while also being under guard. So, again, you can weave 2 completely different narratives from those first 2 pictures, but they come from the same shot. And that's what a lot of people, I think, are doing with these tweets today. So anyway, 574-2595-953. Look, I know everybody's talking about this. I know you have been hearing it all day, but I don't know that anybody's actually given you an opportunity to call in and actually weigh in on it. So that's what I'm doing for you right now. Robert, welcome to the program. You're first at bat.
Okay, great.
What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, I think Trump's getting treated unfairly. It just isn't right what they're doing to him, because he's not a racist and he never has been.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's talking about is the way basically the people that are accusing him, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. Those guys are the biggest anti-Semites and and anti-American people in the Congress, and I don't even know how they got in there, but they're in there.
Something interesting, because Ilhan Omar, she tweeted out today that he was stoking white nationalism. And if that's the case, if what Trump is doing is stoking white nationalism, then by her own definition and her own logic, Ilhan Omar is stoking anti-Semitism and terrorism.
Yep. And OAC, she even accused Pelosi of being a racist. I mean, she's accusing everybody of being a racist.
And who defended Pelosi, by the way? The president did.
Yeah.
The president did. The president came to Pelosi's defense and said it was shameful that she was treating Pelosi that way because Pelosi was no racist. And then what does Pelosi turn around and do the very next day? Files a motion to go and condemn him for racist tweets.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
I keep telling people, like, look, it is okay for you to not be the moral anchor everywhere. It is okay for you to understand that somebody on the left who treats people unfairly is being treated unfairly, and to stay quiet and just let the blue on blue hate crimes commence, because they don't deserve your defense. And so when I saw the president do that, I was actually disappointed. I wanted him to shut up and just let them handle it, get a taste of their own medicine for once. But he did. He defended Pelosi, and Pelosi did not return the favor.
Yeah, you wouldn't. She wouldn't. But yeah, it was nice of him to do that, and that proves, that hey, he'll stand up for people when it's necessary, and it doesn't matter what race you are.
Sure. Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you much.
Okay,
Take care. All right. So Robert thinks that the president is being treated unfairly, but what about the rest of you? Jim, welcome to the program.
Yeah, this is Jim. I just want to make a short comment on the president's tweet about the congressman going back where they came from, or they got it better somewhere else. I make a suggestion: just go ahead and take Aaron Kaepernick with it.
Oh, Kaepernick? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Aaron
got you.
Kaepernick with him. It's so bad over here. They can't take it. They don't like it. Just go back where it's better, where they think it's better, and take him with them.
All right. Appreciate it, Jim.
My short comment.
All right. Thank you much. LeBron James had a reality show in a barbershop, and I never watched it, but they had a preview for it once on, it was HBO or Showtime, one of the two. And in there, they had several of these very, very prominent and wealthy black celebrities. And they were talking about how blacks are treated better in so many other countries than they are here. And all I could think of was, you are some of the richest and most influential people in the entire world, certainly in the United States, and you're complaining about how you're treated here. And yet none of you, even though you have the ability, would dare give anything you have in this country up. I wonder why that is. And it's interesting. And again, it's not a whole, I don't want you here because you don't agree with me sort of a thing. But it's, if you are rich enough and powerful enough to literally live anywhere in the world, anywhere you want, and you are convinced that you are being mistreated in one place, but you have the power to go anywhere else, why wouldn't you? And the only thing that comes to mind is you're making it up. You've got it good here. You just want to complain about it. 574-25-95-95-3. We're going to take more of your phone calls on this and whether or not you think the president's tweet was racist or if he is being, again, unfairly targeted. But I read the full 3-tweet thread. And the reason that I did that is it's not making it into most of the publications that are posting. There's a few. But many of them are actually, they're either posting one of the tweets or they're stripping out one sentence from the 3-tweet thread. Okay, so that's the reason that I gave you the entire context, because it's dramatically different than when you just read the one sentence by itself. So when you read the one sentence, why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? If that's the only thing that you read, you don't have the context of everything else about how they live in the greatest country in the world and they're complaining about everything, and yet they fled from these other countries. Why don't they go back and fix those other countries who desperately need it and then come back and show us how to do it if they think we're doing it so wrong? And it's to me, dramatically different context that a lot of people are not getting when they look at this in the news today. We'll take more of your phone calls coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Get breaking news text alerts direct to your smartphone.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Perfect intro music for this segment. Crazy train. Because we are on a crazy train, ladies and gentlemen. The stuff that flies in American media and politics these days is, well, it's laughable, and it would make people who are much more eloquent and distinguished in our past roll over in their graves. There's no doubt about that. 574-25-95-95-3 is the phone number to join us. You can also send me a text message at 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message to get my attention. Do you want to thank R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. I read for you the 3-tweet thread of President Trump that everybody's talking about. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to go right back to the phone lines. I'm asking if you think it's racist or if he's being unfairly targeted again. So this is it. So interesting to see progressive, and progressive is in quotations, progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from other countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all, now loudly and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Then come back and show us how it is done. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to quickly work out free travel arrangements. Now, here's the thing. He's also taken a dig at the civil war that the Democrats are in right now, because he's pointed out that Nancy Pelosi is not exactly thrilled with these freshman congresswomen either. And she's been battling them ever since they got in there. And it's kind of interesting. Anytime Pelosi gives an interview and they talk about how there are people who are opposed to her in her own party, and they talk about this coalition, and she goes, yeah, it's 4 people. So it's kind of interesting. He's poking fun at the bitterness between Pelosi and these freshman Dems as well. All right, 574-25-95-95-3 to the phone lines we go. Mark, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, Casey. Thanks for taking my call.
What's up?
Hey, here's the deal. I think, first off, Trump's not racist. It's the news reporters that are out there that only want to fill out half the truth. And secondly, it's Democrats. I mean, anything that they can do to scorch Trump, they're going to do it. And then you take this AOC, as we call her IOU, because she wants to IOU everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, they pull on all this crap themselves. And I mean, you know, how do you keep giving and giving and giving to the people that are illegal immigrants in this country that have come over here unfairly, and then say the country's bad, when if we weren't giving that money out to those people, those that think it was bad might be better because they would have the money to spend on them.
Well, obviously. I mean, there's that. Let's not forget, too, that Ocasio-Cortez was recently caught in a vicious, horrible lie about the conditions at the southern border, one in which the Border Patrol, corrected in the public. But again, it's a vicious lie, and she's still doubling down on it, in spite of the fact that she got caught fabricating it. And you said this...
It's just like her and her campaign manager about the unauthorized use of the money, and then she wants to talk about everybody else. I mean, people who live in glass houses shouldn't be throwing stones.
Well, something else, too. She praised Evita, okay? Evita was a Nazi sympathizer. In fact, she worked with her husband to recruit Nazis to Argentina.
Right.
Her famous rainbow tour going to Europe was cover to go ahead and arrange for Nazis to be smuggled out of Europe and into Argentina. So then you've got her chief of staff, who, by the way, is attacking a Native American Democratic congresswoman as being a racist, which is irritating a lot of other Democrats. So you've got Ocasio-Cortez not only lying about situations and routinely getting caught about it, but she's also, her and her staff, her senior staff, have been involved in multiple instances where they supported bigotry openly, and people have not called them out on it in their own party. And there's a lot of folks out there that are saying, wait a minute, you can't be, like you're talking about, glass houses. You can't be going around out there and saying that other people are being racist to you when you're running around and doing racist and anti-Semitic things. What's wrong with you?
Well, I mean, everything that the Democrats have said, Trump's in bed with the Russians and this and that. If you turn around and look, it's everything that they have done.
Correct.
that they have done wrong, that they're trying to blame somebody else.
Right.
But, the other thing I think is Trump's a very smart man, because he'll take an excerpt, just like what you said about those people, and he'll put it into a sentence, and all they'll read is that part, and then they start feeding on themselves, making them look like total fools because they didn't read the whole thing. Yep. Or if they did, they think they're going to catch one up on him. And what they've done is just made themselves look like total idiots.
I can't wait to see his campaign ads, to be perfectly honest with you. I think they're going to be real interesting. All right. Hey, Mark, I got to roll, man. Appreciate the call.
Thank you
much. Yeah, I think he spent a couple of years really gathering some information and some data and some examples to be able to throw into campaign ads. It should be a really interesting media blitz. Joe, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Casey.
What's up?
This is totally absurd.
Okay. Why is that?
Hey, simply put, there used to be, we need to relaunch a campaign. I think it was back in the 70s, maybe the 80s. But there used to be a slogan, America, love it or leave it.
Correct.
Why, we should have T-shirts out there like that, just to put this to all the rest.
I mean, that's been, been commonplace, going back to, I think we kind of got away from it like maybe 6-7 years ago. I mean, it's been very recent that all of a sudden it didn't show up in a lot of places.
Exactly. So
you think the president's just saying that then?
He's speaking common sense. He's just trying to get him off his back. Nobody else speaks up, and he's being bombarded. So
that's true.
He's a truth sayer. So what? They ain't truth sayers,
Yeah. All right. I appreciate it, man. Thank you much.
Thanks.
All right. You take care. Bye. And let's not forget, he's being accused of being a racist by Ilhan Omar, who has routinely compared the United States to Al-Qaeda and the American military to terrorists, and she has published multiple anti-Semitic comments online. So this is somebody who has even been in trouble amongst her own base, because obviously the Democratic Party has a large Jewish base. So now they're running around and they're just trying to basically spin it onto somebody else. But if you read the 3-tweet thread, I think it's important that everybody do that, because a lot of places are leaving 2 of those tweets out of this entire thing. And some of them are just publishing that one sentence from his tweets. And like I said, you read it in context and it makes a lot of sense. I have to find this video. There is a guy who did a marble thing that was talking about people who leave their country and come to the United States, and how that is damaging, actually, to the rest of the world. And I have to find that and post it online, because I do it routinely, but it's a really great analogy. I think it was a TED Talk that the guy was giving. But anyway, we'll continue to take your phone calls on this. I'm going to extend this topic out another half hour or so. So keep calling. We're screening your phone calls. We'll put you on hold. We'll take a quick news break for Fox. We'll come back, and we'll take your phone calls and let you weigh in on this. Coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
For tuning in, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Okay, I want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. If you mention me, you get half off the range, but you also get 10% off in the store. So all of your ammo, your accessories, your reloading supplies, all of that stuff at a discount. And if you buy a firearm, you also get an exclusive discount on that as well. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. All right, so we're talking about the president's tweets. We still have full phone lines, so I'm just going to need people to be patient, all right? This is going to be obviously something that a lot of people want to sound off about. Everybody's been talking about it over the weekend. I read you the 3-tweet thread twice now. I'm not going to bore you with it again. For those of you just joining in, just trust me. It changes the context quite a bit when you read all 3 tweets. And what was it? I have to put this at the risk of angering my boss sitting across from me, even though it's not our fault. It's Fox News' fault. But I just got done saying multiple news outlets are only citing one sentence in that 3-thread tweet. Or at 3-tweet thread, and then here comes Fox, and they have the one sentence. But they've got this little soundbite that they've got to get through. It's not a full-length story, and then of course if you go and to their website, you get the full story.
Well, we also have a regional story though that is not Fox about Fred Upton coming out against the president as well.
Yeah, so there's a bunch that has to be added into that, but yeah, it was kind of funny.
But here's the thing, we're getting the full context of the tweets from you.
Correct.
But I think people still need to know what their elected officials are saying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with the reaction from Upton and others, and even Amash, because he's still on it again as well. Nothing wrong with that. But it's just kind of funny. People are kind of commenting like, we always hear that one sentence thing. Well, yeah, but you're going to get that in a news brief. The issue is the written content and the actual programming where they have a panel of 4 or 5 people that sit there for an hour and they never mention the entire thing.
I saw the tweets go by yesterday on my phone. They just show up on my phone in text form when the president tweets, and so I see them right when they happen. And I saw the series of tweets, and it was like a couple hours later that I saw the big furor that was happening over them, and I had to go back and read them because I'm like, why is everybody so upset about these tweets?
Because it wasn't one of these go home, you're brown skinned moments. It wasn't what it was.
It didn't seem that way.
No. You know what did happen last week? And I pointed this out. I pointed out the hypocrisy last week. So last week, the chief White House correspondent for Playboy magazine, who also happens to be a CNN contributor, looked at Sebastian Gorka after threatening to fight him and told him to go home. Nobody said a thing. Now, Sebastian Gorka is not native-born American. He's from another country. I think he's British. He's a British-born Canadian, or the reverse, or something like that. So Sebastian Gorka is from another country. Now, I don't know if he's a legal citizen now or not, but it was interesting because this took place right after the big president press conference that we carried on Friday. So this happens in the White House garden, where you have a mainstream media contributor to CNN, who's also the chief White House correspondent for Playboy magazine, and he is literally telling somebody from another country to go home. That happened last week. Nobody said anything. The president over the weekend, just a couple of days later, says something similar, and everybody blows their lid. Isn't that interesting? What we choose to get offended by. Anyway, 574-25-95-95-3 said there's a lot of people out there just clutching the pearl necklaces around their necks simply because it's politically expedient. Rick, welcome to the program. Good afternoon. Hello, Rick. Rick, last call. Well, that sucks. You've been waiting for half an hour, too. Anyway, Derek, welcome to the program.
Hi, that little talk about the reporter saying the other one to go back to where he came from, I did see part of that. I watched the whole YouTube video of that after he left, and I did see that, so you're right about that. Yeah, he invited Gorka to go outside, and they would have a discussion. So basically, it's like, come on, let's go outside. And then afterwards, he told him to go home. Yeah. Yeah. Who's the black dude that came up to him and told him, we know what you were talking about when you told him to step outside and all that kind of stuff to go home?
That one I didn't see. I didn't see that video, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah, because the guy comes and says, we know what you all meant about that. Yeah. You told him this and that. They were arguing about that a little bit. I watched the whole thing.
That's universal language. If you say you want to step outside, that's universal language. Everybody knows what that means.
Yeah, that's what the dude told him. Said, we all knew what you meant when you said that.
Yep.
What they need to do is drop the dog whistles and start understanding. See, I'm 53 years old. I know when somebody's being racist or not.
Okay.
And I can tell when somebody loves their country and don't love their country. Mm-hmm. And I saw the president today talk about his country. He loves his country. And those 4 are the ones that are destroying this country.
They don't say a lot of good things about America, do they?
No, they don't. They always criticize, and then they don't participate like that 4.6 billion that they passed, and they all voted against it. That's crazy.
And Tlaib defended her vote against it too. She was a reporter actually asked her about it. She defended her vote against it.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about when she went down there and told everybody that the Border Patrol was telling women to drink out of toilets?
Yeah.
I didn't get to talk. That's crazy.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
She wasn't sanctions or ate up over that. I have no idea why she wasn't being.
Exactly. He said this is the type of stuff that I think frustrates your average American out there, is that even if they're not a huge supporter of Trump, and I was listening to a caller on Rush today saying they're turning him into a victim, which is going to turn a lot of people towards the middle off on this. He didn't say, basically the color of your skin, go home. And so people are putting it that way. They're taking it out of context. That's obviously not what he meant. He was simply pointing out that, look, you're from countries that they're in pretty awful states right now, and they could use your talents. If you really think that things are bad and you have good ideas on how to run a government, why don't you go back to your native country, fix that. If it works, come back and show us how you did it, and then we can talk. But otherwise, you don't really have the experience to be, making the claims that you're making. And then, like I said, they've been repeatedly caught in these fabrications and these lies. This is hypocrisy. They hate the conditions at the border, yet they won't vote to improve those conditions at the border. And Ilhan Omar with numerous anti-Semitic tweets out there. It's just ridiculous to see some of this stuff being excused.
He needs to tell the media to stop editing his tweets. If you're not going to say the whole thing about what I'm tweeting about, don't say nothing about me at all.
A little bit later today, I've got a story about that same thing, Derek, involving the vice president, because he did go down to the border facility this weekend. And he actually he confronted CNN in particular because they were distorting everything that happened, and he owned them. He owned them outright. So somebody's doing it at least. But Derek, I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
All right, you take care. All right, we've got more of your phone calls coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, talking about the president's tweets. Are they racist? Are they out of line? Or is he catching flack incorrectly again? I'm taking phone calls on that. Back to the phone lines we go. 574-2595, 95.3. I am reading your text messages, but there are a lot of them coming through. So forgive me if I don't read all of them on the air when we get a chance to. Jim, welcome to the program. Good afternoon. Hello, Jim. What a bummer. He was on hold for a long time also. Jeffrey, welcome to the program.
In 1972, I took a solemn oath to defend the Constitution from its enemies, both foreign and domestic. That's an oath I've never given up. This is the same oath that any senator or Congress must take. In 1974, I was escorting a group of soldiers that were just out of combat within 72 hours. We got off at LAX, and there was people throwing animal excrement on us. And I gave them the command, pay them the line. They're just trying to create a problem. My whole point that I'm trying to make is that this whole situation is all about how they can spin it in the media. If Congress would step up and act, this whole problem would go away. And I don't care what it is, but it's been untenable for years, and they've tried to make it into a political service. They're not defending the Constitution of the United States from its enemies, both foreign and domestic. They are the problem. And, we as people, you and I and everyone else, we consent to be governed. We do not consent to be ruled. That's why we have a First Amendment and we have a Second Amendment. And some people don't like that. We're getting, not me personally, but there are people that if they say something, it'll be deleted on all this media and everything. Everyone has an opinion. I want to listen to them, and I'll listen very carefully. But this country, you look at what's going on right now. We have people that put masks on and beat up people that have nothing to do with what they're talking about. They want to play to the camera. Everyone has their 15 minutes of fame. Well, let me tell you something. This is civil war. This is treason. You and I can disagree about a lot of different things, but I don't come to your house with a mask on and beat you up.
Right.
I don't come to your place of business and try to harm you in any manner. This is ridiculous.
Or go to a detention facility armed with fire bombs and rifles, which an Antifa member just did over the weekend. So
absolutely,
yeah.
And he went into a situation where he knew there'd be a chance that he could be smoked by someone.
Sure.
So if they're willing to lay down their life for their beliefs, for God's sakes, join the service.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
You'll get free health care. You'll get education. You'll get everything you need. And all you got to do is just be squared away. And, I remember very carefully when I was in the service, we were taught very, very distinctly, just because you've been given an order doesn't mean if it's not moral to do it. In other words, every soldier had the right to say, you know what, I'm not going to do this.
Right.
And I am just, no. And the people who didn't serve don't understand this. It just, These people are asking for a civil war. They're asking for a civil war, and I don't want it.
No, they are asking for it. You're 100% right. Hey, Jeffrey, I'm gonna bounce on you. I want to get somebody on before I have to get out of here, okay? But I appreciate it. Thank you much. And there are people, they call themselves revolutionaries for a reason. Ben, you get the final word.
Good. Hey, Casey?
Yeah.
Hey, what I find so ironic about this whole deal is the fact that, about 3 weeks ago, on a Fox News reporter, black Fox News reporter, was interviewing some individuals at a Democratic rally, and these individuals came up to him and started harassing him and made this statement. They said, why don't you go back and pick cotton? And you hardly heard a word about that.
That's true. That's right. Didn't hear anything.
And yeah. And real quick, Hillary Clinton, 2.5 years ago, at a town hall forum, when they were discussing a quotation that Rahm Emanuel had, and the proctor mistakenly said Cory Booker, and Hillary said, no, it was Rahm Emanuel. And the woman says, oh, yeah, that's right, you're right. And Hillary said, and I've got this, I recorded this. And Hillary says, yeah, and, they all look alike. The proctor...
we talked about that extensively, yeah. If that had been any Republican, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So and again, I put that on Facebook, and I had people saying, when did she say that? We didn't. So I went ahead and
You're right. You are 100% right. Hey Ben, I'm gonna have to cut you short because I got to bounce out of here. But thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it. Glad we got you on. You take care, and let's not forget the hundreds of times they told Melania to go home. So xenophobia is alive and well on the left as well. We got more coming up. 95.3 MSC.
WTRC FM and HD1. Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.